And now, from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sehnita Joshua Mattison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up, San Gabriel Valley, with CCN Sunrise.
Good morning and welcome to CCN Sunrise. We have a great show planned for you today. I'm Sehnita Joshua Mattison.
And I'm Paulo Alejandria. We got big news coming out of Pasadena City College. Dr. Mark Rocha announced his retirement as president effective August 31st. We'll be talking to William Thompson of the Board of Trustees about what's to come next. Sehnita, looks like we got a full docket this morning, but we do have some big global national news. The U.S. ordered some, what they're labeling as preemptive airstrikes, not full scale, but
do they put that preemptive word in
not
there?
Not preemptive, but like a small scale airstrike. The reason being is anyone's guess. There's theories. I think what most people, if you ask them, are worried about is a full scale re-engagement in this area of Iraq.
Well, the hard thing is, we thought Al-Qaeda was bad, but now you have this group ISIS, which is a breakaway group, and they just seem intent on just doing away with their everything.
Yeah, it's scary
and everyone.
stuff.
It is really scary, and so there does need to be some kind of block on them, that they aren't going to be able to have full access to do whatever they want. I don't know if we should have disengaged, I guess, in Iraq, but they're saying that it's not going to be a full-scale detachment.
Who's to say, really? I mean, the point, what they're saying at the White House, it is to quell this insurgent group who they're labeling as barbaric. But there's also a humanitarian aspect to this. They're sending in food to people in Iraq who haven't had access to it, and from what a lot of them are saying, it's about time. So we're still seeing some heavy activity in this part of the world.
Yeah, and Iraq is asking us for this help, so we'll just have to see.
All right, well, we'll certainly look into that, and with that, we'll talk about what's happening right here in the San Gabriel Valley.
And now, CCN, Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood starts right now.
Autopsy results for firefighter Mike Herdman were released this week. Reports say toxicology results from the Ventura County medical examiners revealed that the 36-year-old Arcadia firefighter, who went missing in June in the Los Padres National Forest, had traces of alcohol and ecstasy in his system at the time of his death. Despite those findings, experts say Herdman's death was accidental and likely caused by blunt force injuries. Herdman was found dead after a camping trip with fellow Arcadia firefighter Taylor Byers. No foul play is suspected, and the Sheriff's Department has closed the case. The Arcadia Fire Department could not be reached for a comment. A donation page has been set up for the family at arcadiafirefighters.org. Karina Yolabet Lopez of Highland Park was arrested for leaving her 2 children in a parked car in the scorching summer heat on a Friday afternoon. Witnesses reported seeing a 3-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl locked in a car on August 1st at the Pasadena Health Department. Reports indicated the interior of the car was 120 degrees and the children were dripping with sweat when officials responded. Lopez told the investigators she left the children in the car for only a few minutes, but passersby said otherwise. Lopez is being held on $100,000 bail on an initial court appearance. All right, well, it's terrible. Just terrible news. But with that, we got the morning buzz.
And who's on the side of Donald Sterling?
Well, apparently Gene Simmons is.
Oh my gosh! This story just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Before we I don't, of course, I don't agree with what Mr. Sterling said, but I kind of like what Gene Simmons did here because he's defending free speech. I feel.
Well, the fact of the matter with free speech is, yes, anyone can say anything they wanted. Donald Sterling was not arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was, and that's the point of free speech, really. And I think people miss that. Free speech is that we're not going to get arrested for what we say. We have the right to say it. But people have a right to react to it, right?
This is true, but then there was also an after effect here. He did lose ownership of his team in light of these things coming out. I know we have a whole situation here where we're talking about racism, and you're talking about him owning a team in a league that's predominantly African American. But I think what Gene Simmons is saying here, and this is what's great about our country, you can sympathize with people and you can play the devil's advocate, if you will. And I'm not going to wholeheartedly agree with whatever Mr. Simmons said, but
I think there's
end
truth
on free
to it.
speech?
There is honestly truth to it. You know, people do make racist remarks in the privacy of their own home. This got released, unfortunately, but there's consequences, I suppose.
Along the lines of free speech, how about these high school cheerleaders? Big controversy brewing out of, what is it, Redlands?
Redlands,
Out of
right?
Redlands,
Right
yeah.
nearby us.
Okay, so a picture was taken. It was supposed to be a team building exercise, but the picture depicted these cheerleaders in stereotypical gang fashion. Well, let me first ask you, what was your take on this when you first saw it?
You know me, Paulo. I'm usually someone who's, you know, always outraged and offended and that kind of thing. I'm not, like, the people who were writing about this were saying it was disgusting, and to that, I don't have that level of outrage for this. I mean, I think it can be a learning experience for these students, but I just feel like, you know, they're going overboard. I understand that, you know, the kids shouldn't have done this, but let's just be clear, they are kids, and they are playing dress up.
And in all fairness, they didn't think it was going to go viral, and it seemed like a funny little thing between them, but I think what's important to remember here is what's funny to you is probably not going to be funny to a lot of people. And I saw the picture. I mean, yeah, there were some things like, you know, you have the pregnant, you know, the pregnant gangster girl, cholas, I don't know what you call them, but I think that's what they're talking about when they're saying it was a little denigrating. But let's talk about what a stereotype is, though. Stereotype is something that's propagated by a group that it's only an issue when a group outside seems to be making fun of it or mimicking it.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. I mean, people are saying like this is equivalent to blackface, and I don't understand that, honestly. I mean, I understand that it's a problem. I understand that the school should take action in stopping it. I think it was also authorized by, you know, the team's advisors, so that's wrong all right there. The kids were also having like knives on them and stuff. So I understand it's wrong, but I don't understand where they are going a little bit farther, saying it's racism and all of that. I mean, that part I'm not sure. But what I am outraged with, another story we've got.
Let's talk about the outrage.
Oh my gosh! There's a fashion photographer in India who has this fashion spread where basically he's showing a woman dressed up in really nice clothes on a bus, basically fending off men, and it's, you know, kind of relates to the gang rape that happened in India, and it's outrageous.
Back in 2012.
Yeah, it's honestly, that to me, it's outrageous and offensive that he thinks it's okay to depict this in a fashion magazine. I'm
going to play the devil's advocate here. The man's an artist, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, by no means am I advocating rape, but I think a main function of art is to shock, is to be provocative, is to cause discussion and to make people uncomfortable, which is what he obviously did.
He did, but honestly, it is glamorizing it, and that's offensive. And
it's subjective.
Considering the amount of problem India has in the way it treats its women, this is not helping the case.
That I will agree with you. It probably this picture came out at an inopportune time.
Well, honestly, the thing I don't understand is he thinks he's helping the cause. He's like, he does say he wasn't trying to glamorize rape. He wasn't trying to promote anything. He is against the incidents that happened, but he failed. He failed miserably. I mean, come on. I look at that spread, and the woman's like holding off men, and they're grabbing at her. I mean, that's disgusting.
It's all in the eye of the beholder. I mean, what you see is probably not what somebody else sees.
But the fact that they are having so many problems with this, this is not changing the course of the discussion.
I know what you're saying there.
It's disgusting. That's what I have to say.
All righty. Well, Pasadena City College President Mark Rocha announced he's stepping down at the end of the month.
PCC school board member, school board trustee William Thompson is here to tell us what's next for the school. We'll be back.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Did you take your medicine? Oh, gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse,
You need a claim number?
her personal assistant,
Let me just grab a...
her housekeeper. her cook, her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
And now, CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood starts right now.
After a number of controversies and no confidence votes, Pasadena City College President Dr. Mark Rocha announced his retirement yesterday. College Board Trustee Bill Thompson is here to talk about what this means for the college and what's next. Thanks for being here so early in the morning.
Oh, my pleasure. Always good to be up and to be able to talk about Pasadena City College and public education, which is one of the critical issues of our time. So thank you for inviting me to be here.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you know, this has probably been a long time coming in some ways, but how long has the board known about this decision?
Well, give you a little bit of background on this. Dr. Rocha's wife works with Jacobs Engineering, and she received a very significant promotion, an opportunity to go to work in New York City on behalf of Jacobs. And so, during being happily married, Dr. Rocha had to move back there and wanted to move back there. And so we've been working with him to help him accomplish that for probably the last approximately 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months.
This is something that's been on the former president's mind for some time now.
Absolutely.
And he's vocalized that to you as a possibility.
You may have read he did apply for some jobs back in the Manhattan area, not successfully, but he needs to move back there to be with his family and everything like that. So it's not a surprise to us. It's been coming. And we're able to negotiate a very amicable resolution of it.
Well, I know, you know, with the position in New York, I know a lot of the students wrote in, you know, saying that they shouldn't hire Dr. Mark Rocha. How is the board supporting him in his next transition and finding another position?
Yes, we've put together a letter of recommendation that's been signed by Dr. Anthony Fellow, the president of our board, and basically that's a recommendation for Dr. Rocha. There's also been a press release put out yesterday that thanks him for the 4 years he's devoted to Pasadena City College and the things that have been accomplished there. So it's not been an easy time, to be sure, and we're ready to move on. I think the college will move on, and we face the accreditation process coming up also next spring, and so we have to begin the process of getting ready and moving through that.
Mr. Thompson, I know it's perhaps a little too soon to provide a prologue to his career at PCC, but at this point, how would you characterize Mr. Rocha's 4 years as the president? He has been there since 2010, correct?
That's correct. July the 1st of 2010 is when he began his presidency, and so a little over 4 years. But he's accomplished some very significant things. For example, the opening of the Center for the Arts, a very, very significant addition to the college. He's accomplished that. We've set up our Pathways to Degree program with the Pasadena Unified School District, by which we take students in 10th grade there who are wanting to go on to college, and we will guarantee them admission to PCC and enrollment in the classes they need to be able to transfer. Cal State LA guarantees them admission there if they get their basic skills requirements out of the way and certain minimum grades as they go through it. So that we're working with PUSD, again, the Pasadena Unified School District, on this dual enrollment program. A number of significant things have been accomplished. We got through the last go-around of accreditation with Dr. Rocha's leadership as well. So he's done some very significant things for the college.
But then there's also been a number of controversies,
Sure,
of course.
absolutely.
How much did, I mean, you were talking about transfers, but, a lot of the students haven't been able to graduate in time with the number of classes offered. And then how much do you think the whole commencement scandal, controversy has affected PR for the school, recruitment, morale in general?
Well, there's no question about what the commencement fiasco, as you've described it, did not help the college's reputation, to put it kindly, I suppose. But it's time to move on. As I said before, we have the accreditation coming up, and we need to face up to that. Dr. Rocha had family reasons for wanting to move, and so we applaud him for that, and we wish him the very best, and we're going to support him in his efforts to get more new employment, whatever type of employment he may wish to pursue. He has said he really wants to go back to teaching and writing, which he was an English professor and before, as he began his career, and so I think he may be ready to move back to that.
He'll have plenty to write about, it sounds
Well, that
like.
is true, and being a college president, particularly at a community college the size of Pasadena City College, is no easy task, and you're going to come in with your own ideas, your own vision of what needs to be accomplished, and you're going to annoy some people in the process of doing that.
And I don't think people realize when you talk about PCC in comparison to other city colleges just how big it is compared to other schools.
That is quite correct. We have approximately 30,000 students there, including our community education center over on Foothill, and people are astonished by that when they hear the enrollment, because they drive by, look at it and say, that's beautiful, I wonder what happens there. Well, a lot happens there.
Well, let's talk about the state of the college from this point forward. I mean, the news just broke, literally. So where does the school go from here? Is there going to be an interim president
We
that's
will
going to be taking over?
will appoint an interim president. We will gather together and do that soon. My expectation is it'll be Bob Miller, who is the current vice president in business affairs, and I think he's going to be an excellent person. He's a member of the exec committee of the Tournament of Roses. Will be the president, ride down the Rose Parade in 2021, I think it is, and so he'll do a great job. He understands the need to sit down and talk with people and candidly, and I think Bob will do a great job, and I'm quite confident he'll be our choice.
I mean, so you've had some time to think about this, obviously,
Yes.
since this is coming. Do you suspect that Mr. Miller will also continue on as president?
That remains to be seen. I think, as I said before, he will have basically a full-time job in the year 2020, which seems like a long ways away, but it's really not. So whether Bob has interest in the permanent job as president, we'll have to see as time goes on. But he will do an excellent job of getting us through the accreditation process, and I think that's what we want to accomplish.
I want to just ask you one last question. When you're seeking the next president, what can the students expect, and how involved would the students and faculty be in either searching for the next president or kind of developing the school year?
Well, I was on the committee that was involved in the selection of Dr. Rocha, and at that time we had members of students, or a student representative on there. The committee, we also had members of the Faculty Association, and it's a broad representation, including the PCC Foundation and everything. And so we'll do that again. I mean, it's very important that they have a voice in it, and we listen to them carefully and thoughtfully, and we will collectively as a group reach a decision, make a recommendation to the board, which hopefully will accept our recommendation, and life will move on.
Well, Mr. Thompson, we want to thank you for joining us this morning. We'll definitely keep an eye on what's going on in the school. It's very interesting fodder for news.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'd be happy to come back anytime that you may wish.
Please, and tell us about the updates that are happening in the year. So
I
please
will do
join
that.
us again.
Thank you very much.
We'll have some coffee for you.
Good.
Well, can they or can't they?
Dr. Michelle Myers is going to tell us if women can have it all after all when we come back.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
The CEO of PepsiCo says it's just not possible.
Yeah, Dr. Michelle Meyer is here to tell us what women can do to have it all.
Dr. Michelle, they are trying to have it all. They're working really hard, but really stressed out. I'm not sure if they're enjoying the process.
Yes, there is this paradox of the female happiness that is declining, and a lot of it really is because of these change in gender norms. You know, 63% of the families of children now have dual income families. 50% of women are now in male-dominated roles, and in the last 25 years, we've seen the number of stay-at-home dads double. So what does all this mean? Women are in more higher education now, women are in more male roles, and men are in more traditionally female roles. So there's this big shift in gender norms in terms of working profession and home life. And there also continues to be these gender gaps in economics. For instance, for every dollar a man earns, a woman still earns only 77 cents. And so what is the problem with these norms? And the situation is that cultural values and norms really change slowly. So, we expect our spouses to do things that are sort of in line with our traditional understanding of what a significant other does. And so, for instance, if a woman now becomes the major breadwinner, there's this dissonance in her of, okay, well, now I'm the breadwinner, but now I still have to go home and fulfill these traditional values that she is accustomed to. So you'll see women working all day and then women coming home and wanting to be the caregiver and taking care of everything, which really does create a lot of conflict in the home. There's Sheryl Sandberg wrote this, Lean In book about women really trying to grab it all and have it all. But unfortunately with that, we are really seeing a decline in female happiness and women happiness, because when women really strive to have it all, they lose out on something. And one of the most important things to a woman typically is her relationship, specifically with her significant other. And when women try so hard to have it all, the relationship with their significant other declines. And so what we can tell couples to do is to really think about, one, what are the expectations, and communicate those with one another. If a woman wants to be the breadwinner and she wants to do that, then she needs to let go some of the reins and let her husband take care of some of the things at home. The other thing is to value one another's, what they're doing at home and their work and their support, and really be clear about, here's what my role is, here's what your role is, and really being open, especially for women, being open to letting someone else take control of things a little bit, which I know is really hard for women. I was telling you earlier, Sehnita, that I hear from moms all the time who are working that they come home and their husband didn't change a light bulb correctly, or they come home and the children aren't eating the right food. And so, women who want to have it all also need to let go of some of that.
Yeah, Paulo knows nothing about women trying to always take control.
Nothing about that. A couple of laid-back ladies here, right?
Absolutely. Dr. Michelle, there are men who are also feeling this pressure.
Absolutely.
There was a CEO from MongoDB who says, I can't have it all either, and he actually depromoted himself, I'm getting the wrong word, but stepped down from his position because he said, I want to be able to spend time with my family. I've missed out on so much. And so I think it's just all families are just readjusting to this new work style.
And I think unfortunately with society, when we hear someone who wants to step down, we see it as a negative thing, and we don't understand that there's family life too, because I think it goes both ways. Men are also criticized for wanting to stay home with their family, just like women are, but we forget sometimes that men are criticized for that. So sorry, Paulo.
Yeah, criticism, it's an everyday thing, right?
But Paulo, you're doing fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right.
And thank you for joining us this morning. It's been great. A new report blames income inequality as a factor for the weak economic recovery.
Bob McClure is here to tell us how the income gap might be slowing down the recovery in his Money and Market segment.
An interesting topic here, following in on Dr. Michelle's topic about more income inequality and who makes what. And certainly one of the great debates in various economic systems is who should make what? Should everyone be equal? Should those at the top make more and those at the bottom less? And how big should that gap be? In the last several months, there have been 2 pioneering studies done talking about that specific issue. How big should that gap be? A study done by the Standard & Poor's said that income inequality is a huge drag on the U.S. economy. Since 2005, the U.S. economy, as we probably all know, has been very slow. Standard & Poor's specifically used the phrase income inequality in their report. And the thing that's interesting about that is that income inequality is a phrase that has been pioneered by the left. And they've talked about income inequalities in various different aspects of life, whereas on the right, the discourse has been primarily about income redistribution. Standard & Poor's is a completely non-political organization. Their reports are specifically for investors and clients trying to guide them toward smart investments in financial assets and real estate. So the fact that they have used this terminology for their study was fairly groundbreaking, and it kind of mimics a study done by Thomas Piketty, a French economist, and he put out a study earlier this year specifically addressing the same issue in his book, Capital in the 21st Century. In his book, he pointed out that those who have a lot of income tend to spend it and then save a bunch of it, whereas those on the lower economic end of the spectrum tend to spend what they have and then more, and they have to borrow. So they use debt to fill in that gap, and that excess spending tends to contribute to the boom and bust cycles. Now, the thing that he had to say was that the economy, the capitalist system, needs economic intervention from the government. Well, that's just plain old Econ 101. That's Keynesian economics. There's nothing groundbreaking there. The thing that has been very interesting is that now in the last year we have Standard & Poor's, a very non-political organization, talking specifically about income inequality, and then Thomas Piketty writing this book about income inequality, and it went to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Now, one interesting side note on that is that the New York Times tends to be a fairly left-leaning publication, and they're very much behind Piketty's work. Whereas on the right, you take a publication like the Wall Street Journal, they have a lot of problems with his work. And so while it's still not come right to center, big steps have been made toward making this a sort of topic for the everyman. So Paulo, Sehnita, I think we're in for a year of more discussion of income inequality.
Well, Bob, I was really interested that their recommendations from this was that we need to spend more money on education. That if we actually spent more money on education, we'd probably get a 2.4 increase in the growth rate, which, I think coming from them is so important. We talk about them as separate issues sometimes.
Yes, income and poverty, as we discussed last week, very tightly linked together. But spending on income, or education, and infrastructure were the 2 main things that they say suffer under the capitalist system without government help.
I hope. Thanks, Bob, for that. Well, kids aren't the only ones who need to eat their spinach.
In our Senior Solutions segment, Mary Winters tells us why it's important for seniors to maintain their muscle mass, coming up.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
But Dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
You guys going to my party on Friday?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy.
All right.
What's up, dude? I'm loving your jacket.
Don't be such a fag.
If you don't mean it, why say it? Words hurt. Think before you speak.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet! Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
So, Paulo, looks like you've been eating your spinach. You have some muscle mass going on there.
I do like to work out, you know.
You sure do.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
Got my own guns, buddy.
Yeah. To the gun show, right? Yeah. Anyway, on that note, in our Senior Solutions segment, Mary Winters is here to tell us why it's so important for seniors to eat their muscles pumped, yeah? Yeah?
Absolutely
Yeah?
it is, yeah. So Popeye said, eats your spinach. I'm a horrible Popeye impersonator, but the Sailor Man is 81 now and still knows how to pack a serious punch, especially after prying a can of pure cartoon power open and gobbling it down. Just on Popeye's it's a cartoon, Popeye's a cartoon, but why is it important to maintain those muscles as we age? It is because it allows us to be able to move and walk freely. It's important to eat lean protein, and the teleprompter is just moving really fast, so I can't exactly read what I'm trying to say. But if you lose muscle mass, or we do lose muscle mass into our 40s, in fact, we lose it at a percentage, about half a percentage point a year as we turn 40. And little by little, we're robbed of our strength and making us more vulnerable to falls and life-debilitating breaks. Something called sarcopenia sets in as we age. I like that word, sarcopenia. And it becomes it's something where our skeletal muscles just start to decline as we become more sedentary. So don't become a couch potato. And it's more difficult to rise from our chairs with that, and it's harder to get out of bed. And what happens as we age is our sex and our growth hormones actually drop in production and render us as weaker as we age. But you can fight it. If you train and you look at your weight training and possibly doing some resistance training with rubber bands and so forth, it's very helpful. If you stop smoking, it would be the single best thing you can do for your health. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you are walking, dancing, jogging 20 to 30 minutes a day. This is weight-bearing exercise and very helpful in helping to support your skeletal system and your muscles in your body. So make sure that you're staying active, you're eating nutritious meals, you have lean protein that you're eating, and you got it. You have to eat plenty of vegetables like spinach. In fact, if you just add one more vegetable to your plate on your meal, you'll be healthier and much happier as you're able to move freely. What happens too when you wind up getting better at eating better and moving better, you reduce arthritis and all kinds of horrible diseases that can be really rendering. And so just get a friend and get moving.
So it sounds like you're not too old to be a stud, right?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, it's so important to maintain muscle mass. And that is what helps us to be able to walk and to move and we wind up becoming more sedentary, and then there's this catch-22 between walking less because we're afraid of falling and not moving, so it's a trap when we get older.
I wanted to ask you, with natural muscle degeneration as you age, I mean, when you start working out at an advanced age, I mean, is there a chance you're going to gain some of it back, or?
You can gain muscle mass. It's absolutely, you
Yeah.
absolutely can. So look at the lean proteins, adding your vegetables, other things, just weightlifting, absolutely important. Very important.
And it can just be those cans of spinach, right?
Absolutely.
And we just need olive to
Use the
maybe eat
cans.
some of those spinach too.
Exactly.
Exactly, right?
All right, well, in our next half hour, Lee Cuellar is going to tell you what you need to know about your home inspection.
Coming up.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
And now, from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sehnita Joshua Mattison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up, San Gabriel Valley, with CCN Sunrise.
Welcome back to the second half hour of CCN Sunrise. I'm Sehnita Joshua Mattison.
And I'm Paulo Alejandria.
So Paulo, are you a narcissist?
I don't know what would give you that idea, Sehnita.
That answers that question. There's a study out there, and it says it's really easy to spot a narcissist. All you have to do is ask them.
All you gotta do is ask them, and I think if you ask me honestly, yeah. Well, what about you?
No, I really don't. It's, because they say that the reason that it's the easiest way is because narcissists don't really see that as a bad thing, it can obviously get out of hand.
Yeah. You can never have too many selfies of yourself, in my opinion.
Yes, it can get out of hand with people like Ron Artest, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What's his story? He's changing his name again?
Okay, so he went from Ron Artest to Meta World Peace. And now he's going to be playing in the Chinese Basketball Association, and he's going to be known as the Panda's friend.
Oh boy, well, he'll need some friends. Well, we're going to take a quick look at some of the headlines happening right here in the San Gabriel Valley.
And now, CCN, Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood starts right now.
Residents came out Tuesday for National Night Out. Communities threw giant block parties and cookouts, and residents danced in the streets to take back their communities from crime. The annual event is designed to strengthen community relationships with law enforcement and gives residents a chance to learn about anti-crime and drug prevention programs. Alhambra Police even hosted a firearms training simulator for people to find out how officers are trained to use firearms. The National Night Out started in 1984 as a way to encourage residents to report suspicious activity in their community and show their commitment to safe neighborhoods. Well, did anyone lose a tortoise? It looks like Alhambra police were in fast pursuit of Clark, the giant tortoise who was found wandering the streets of Alhambra over the weekend. Police spotted the 150-pound tortoise Saturday afternoon and hauled it into a patrol car and took it into the station until animal control arrived. Not to worry though, Clark finally got reunited with his family. We're gonna go right into the prize. There is so much going on, Paulo. Ebola is obviously, they've declared it an emergency situation. There are so many deaths happening, over 900, and probably even more people infected. But you know, I was looking on my Facebook, and there are so many people who are so upset that we brought the doctor and the nurse here, and they're like, why are you bringing Ebola to the United States?
Yeah, among them, the Donald Trump.
The Donald always
has something to say about that as well.
And you know, I think it's sad that people are so, you know, with this, the treatments that the doctor is getting. I mean, it's going to really push things forward as far as research and how this is being combated. So I think that there's just a lot of compassion missing in this story, that just keep it away from us.
Especially if you take into consideration, it's passed bodily. It's not, you don't get it, it's not in the air. But I think with anything, especially when you talk about Ebola, there's going to be a widespread panic. There's going to be hysteria. You're going to get people like the Donald tweeting that if you're going to go out there and help them, which I thought this was unbelievable. If you're going to go out there and help them, then you got to be willing to pay the price, or the ultimate price. I think it was his exact words.
Obviously, they have been willing to pay the ultimate price, but
it is a sacrifice to go there itself.
Why is it so much that if it was a soldier, of course we wouldn't be like, you're not coming back. But all of a sudden, a doctor is on their own, someone who's willing to help out and sacrifice their life. He's not willing to give them a little bit of respect. I don't understand it. But speaking of divisive people, Glenn Beck, you know, he just came out and he's finally saying that, yes, as my time on Fox News, I probably did lead to kind of tearing apart this country and the divisions that are out there. Oops,
I think
my bad.
One can make that argument, I guess, but yeah, it's certainly interesting. But what was your takeaway from that?
Oops, my bad.
Oops, my bad.
Sucks to be you all, because I'm making good money and I'm all right, so it's not my problem.
Yeah, onward and upward, I suppose.
I guess, and he's saying basically it's going to lead to a civil war, you know, within the country, but it has been really damaging. And I do appreciate, he has actually come out a few times and he's talked about his role at Fox, and is finally acknowledging what a lot of the people on the other side are saying, that it's just ridiculous, the level of kind of hate and hysteria that they were promoting, and he was promoting on his show. So I appreciate that he's acknowledging that. But, you know, he's kind of not offering solutions to it.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, oh, okay.
I'm going to wash my hands of it, but check out the Blaze. And, you know, when they said, well, is the Blaze also contributing the same kind of hysteria? And he's like, I hope not.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't know. But I will say, I do appreciate him acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Because it is the truth and it needed to be put out there.
Could be a really well-planned maneuver.
Yeah, well,
if you will.
Absolutely. And,
speaking of maneuvers,
I wanted to ask you, because the House of Blues on Sunset is going to be demolished.
Here.
What do you think? Is that somewhere you went often, or?
I saw the Killers there way back in the day, 2008.
Can't be that long. That's not way back.
It's like 6 years. It seems like yesterday, but the Killers, they killed it.
They sure did.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen some great bands there. You might not even know Rusted Brute. That's a band I really love, and they have a big band, lots of instruments, and it's so cool to listen to bands.
And it's a great venue too.
It's such a great venue because there's not a bad seat in the house. You know,
not at all.
Even if you're upstairs, you have a great perspective. So
and I always like the vibe of the House of Blues.
Absolutely, it's so like eclectic and cool.
It seems like that's the way music venues should be.
It really should.
Yeah.
But you know, they're going to put another boutique condo there or hotel, which is great. You know, obviously, you know, we need visitors coming in and having a place. But when you lose a venue like that, where people can walk to, have a dinner out, have music, and then, you know, drinks after, I don't know, you're just losing some of the flair.
And I'm so LA-centric, I thought this was the original House of Blues. I actually started out in Boston, and that one closed back in 2003, like
No,
10 years
nothing
after.
happens outside of LA.
Yeah,
It just-
well, it's yeah, you shouldn't be thinking that, but yeah, sometimes I do think that, but of
the
course
good-
not, yeah.
The good news is they're saying that they're not leaving LA. They have a couple
relocate.
years to relocate. So we will
We'll
have
make way
another
for the
venue.
condos and the hotels, right?
Absolutely.
We need more of them
All right.
up there.
Well, when we come back, Lee Cuellar is next here to tell you about all you need to know about getting a home inspection.
When we come back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
If you want to buy a house, one of the most important parts of the process is the home inspection.
Lee Cuellar tells us some things to be aware about with your next home inspection.
So congratulations, you're buying a house. You've identified that dream house, you've put forth an offer, you've gotten it accepted, and now you're in escrow. Woohoo! How cool is that? One of the first things you're going to do is get a physical inspection. A physical inspection is going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about this new house of yours. Now, where do you find a physical inspector? You can certainly look them up online, or you can have your real estate professional introduce a few. Chances are they work with physical inspectors all the time, and they know who does a great job. So, the day of the inspection, you're going to spend about 2 hours at the house. The physical inspector will arrive, and he'll say something like this. I'll be doing a physical inspection today. It'll take approximately 2 hours. I'm going to start with the foundation. I'll work my way up to the roof, and I'll look at everything in between. At the end of that inspection, I'll give you a summary of any cause for concern, and then I will follow up that summary with a written report, complete with photographs. I'll send that to you by email in the next 24 hours. Fair enough? Great. Hopefully the physical inspector doesn't find any major areas of concern, and you can move forward with your escrow. Now, once you get that physical inspection report, you're going to want to review it carefully with your real estate professional. You can then you can then decide whether or not you want to make a request for repairs from the homeowner. Now, what's this inspection going to cost? Locally, they cost $300 to $500. And it depends on the size and location of your home. What you're really paying for is peace of mind. Paulo and Sehnita?
I liked your home inspection voice.
Thank you very much.
It was very authoritative.
Thank you.
Well,
that's what they sound like.
Well, yeah, is that exactly how they sound like?
That's exactly how they sound, yes.
Okay, so we know what to expect if we buy a house. I just want to ask you quickly, Lee, it just seems so basic to have an inspection. Are a lot of people just jumping in and buying houses?
Well, you know, in the state of California, you sign about 36 different pieces of paper when you buy a house. And on 12 of those pieces of paper, you're told to get a physical inspection.
Right.
So it's very, very important, and you really need to get that physical inspection done.
Very good, Lee. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
A rare cancer has left her blind.
You'll meet a special little girl whose spirit shines despite her struggles. You won't want to miss this.
My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't use this one.
He helps me with my decision making.
Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Cancer has left her blind, but it hasn't taken away her amazing spirit. Rocha Hengeholds is here to tell us about a fundraiser to help get her daughter Rose the treatment she needs to fight this horrible disease.
Elisa, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
How old is Rose?
She's 3.
3 years old. And what kind of cancer does she have?
She has a bilateral optic glioma, which means it's in both eyes in her brain.
Oh my gosh.
Was it pretty evident pretty much as soon as she was born that there was something terribly wrong?
There was just something in her eyes that we noticed was a little bit off from the beginning. And actually it was her pediatrician that saw it at 2 months old, and that's when she was diagnosed.
Oh.
And what was that like for you when they told you that it was cancer?
Yeah, as a mother.
Oh, there are no words to describe.
I can only imagine
how painful it is. It was the last thing that we ever imagined, ever expected to happen. She's our first baby. She's our honeymoon baby. So it was just a big shock for us.
And what's the process been like to wrap your head around this?
It's been a hard process. Thanks be to God, we have had an amazing community of people supporting us. We're people of faith, and most of all, we believe in prayer and God's intercession. And we've had so many people pray for us, and I think that's what's given us strength. And Rose's spirit, she's so amazing. I mean, she's just so full of joy and life and happiness that for me, I know that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps a smile on my face.
Yeah, and we're excited. We're going to have her come on in just 1 minute. But did she become blind right away, or was that a process of her losing her sight?
We don't know. We're not sure if she ever did have vision because it was so early on that
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that she was diagnosed. She has a little bit of vision, but not much.
Now, I mean, you raising money for the treatment. Is there a chance that her vision will be fully restored? I mean, what was the prognosis? What did the doctor tell you?
Well, we've been told it's possible. It's a possibility. I mean, she's 3 years old. It's still early on. But I personally, I believe, we've been told it's possible, and personally, as her mother, I believe anything is possible. And we believe in miracles, and I really think that if she gets the proper treatment, anything can happen.
We are smiling only because we see Rose out there, and we're going to bring her on right now because as you were talking about her spirit, I mean, she's coming into the room and she lights it up, basically. Hi, Rose.
Hey, sweetheart. How are you?
What's your name?
I'm Sehnita. Remember, I met you just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And do you remember Mr. Paulo?
Yeah.
You remember Paulo?
Yeah. What's your name?
It's Mama,
That's
baby.
Mommy.
Hi.
And what's your name?
I'm Paulo.
So, Rose, what are some
Wow,
things...
you could be a great interviewer.
Rose, what are some things you love to do?
Sehnita.
What do you love to do? She's asking you. What do you love to do?
I love to, I need a microphone to talk in.
You have a
You have one right
Microphone
on you.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening to you.
I want a microphone to on my hands.
We got to start here. Can you hand her this?
Here you go.
Rose loves to.
Do you like to sing?
She loves music and she
Yeah.
loves to sing. What songs do you love to sing, Rose? What songs do you love to sing?
What is this right here?
It's a pen.
But that you can use as a microphone.
Oh, a microphone. Oh, it's a mic. Sing a song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. How can I talk really loud?
You can.
You're
you
doing
can talk all
awesome.
you want.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Sing it. Happy
You just made an idea.
You know, it's funny. Our birthdays just passed. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Talented girl.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
That sounds so sweet. Do you have little brothers and sisters, Rose?
They're asking you questions. Do you have little brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
What are their names?
Her names are Lily and Violet.
Lily and Violet. You have two sisters?
Well, Rose, you should have a show of your own. It looks like you're very comfortable with a microphone, and we are just so glad that you came and visited us on the set today.
Yeah, thank
Thank you for having us.
And it sounds like they're going to throw you a party next weekend on the 16th, and everyone's going to come out and celebrate you and try to help raise some money so that you can get to Texas. How does that sound?
I don't want everybody to.
Yes,
You don't want-
do, silly.
You can. I bet they'll let you
There's gonna be a
sing.
magician, and they're going to let you sing on the microphone.
Oh, well, that sounds very special. We want to thank you so much for coming out here.
Happy birthday.
The website.
Yes, can you tell us the website as she's singing?
Rose has her website. It's www.helpsaverose.com, and we're raising funds for her cancer treatment, and anything helps.
All right, well, Alicia, we want to thank you so much. You must have so much strength as a mother to just be her light and just keep her strong. And it takes so much courage, and we thank you for that.
She's certainly an inspiration.
I'm already on the table.
Yes, you are. But that's it for this show for now. Thanks for Rose and her mother, Alicia, to come out here. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for this show. We have EH Financial, Senior Providers Network, Pasadena Federal Credit Union, San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, Beacon Media News, and Ganal Lumber, Foothill Transit, and Ability First. Lots of folks sponsoring us, and we would love your support as well.
And thanks to all the CCN Sunrise crew, and thank you for watching. Catch you next week.